Today I'm going to show you a really fast and easy apple pie recipe. For today's video, I'm going to break this up into two parts. In part one, which I'm going to show you right now, I'm going to show you how to make my no-fail all butter pie dough recipe. At the end of this recipe, there's going to be a clickable link on screen as well as in the description box, which will send you over to part two of the recipe where we're going to use these ingredients to actually make the pie. So for right now, I'm going to remove these ingredients. And now with these four simple ingredients, we're going to start making our no-fail all butter pie dough recipe. So for our recipe today, you're going to need 2 cups of all-purpose flour. We're going to be using some ice water, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 3/4 of a cup of salted butter. So those are the ingredients, so let's get started. For today's recipe, I'm using a food processor to make this really simple, but you can do this recipe by hand using a pastry cutter or 2 knives, and I do have recipes that show those techniques on my YouTube channel. So I'm going to get in all of my flour. To that, I'm going to get in all of my butter, and my butter is cold, and that's very important. You do not want to use warm butter or butter that it's at room temperature. You want to make sure that it's cold. I'm going to take my salt and get that in there as well. And get my lid on. And I am using salted butter in this recipe, and I've added that little bit of salt. If you want to use salted butter and don't want to add the extra salt, you can do that as well. Once this is on, I'm just going to start pulsing this. And I want to break down all of that fat, in this case the butter, into little tiny pieces. So I'm just looking at it very carefully in the side here to see. My butter is cold, so it takes a little while for it to break down. And that looks good. I'm just going to lift this off. I'm going to unplug my food processor, just because safety is always in the back of my head. You don't want to put your hand in here and accidentally have your food processor going on. And now I can look at this and you can see that all the butter has broken down into tiny pieces. And that's exactly what I want. So now I've got my ice water, and I'm going to start adding in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to put my lid back on, and then using the pulse again, we'll plug our machine in, and then just start pulsing this. And as soon as this forms a ball, I want to stop, because I do not want to overwork the dough. A little bit more. And it's almost there. And there we have it. Perfect. I'll unplug my food processor one more time. And there we have our dough. So I'll bring this out. And you'll quickly know with experience when to stop your mixer. And this dough right now is still very cold, and that's what I want. If you feel that your dough is warm, that means you have overworked it. So it's nice and cool. And at this point I want to split this into 2 discs. So I'm going to grab my little bench scraper, and I just want to eyeball this and get it about right. So we get 2 discs. And then at this point I just want to start forming a ball like that. And then I'm going to wrap these with plastic wrap. So you just want to get them kind of flat. And the flatter they are, when you put them into the fridge to rest, the easier it is to roll them out later on. So I'm going to grab a piece of plastic, get it on here. And I'm just going to press it down. Try to make sure it's round. And then we're going to pop these into the fridge. We want them to rest. The reason why I put the dough in the fridge to rest is that by using the machine or even doing it by hand, you have activated the glutens that are in the dough. And if you use this right away, what would happen is as you're rolling it out, you would start seeing the dough shrink. So by placing this into the fridge and letting it rest, it calms down the glutens, everything slows down, it chills, and when you bring it out later on, it's much easier to roll, and you'll notice that the pie dough doesn't shrink as much when you're rolling it out. So we'll get our next dough. We've got 1, 2, get that on there. I'm just going to flatten it out again. That's good. And then I'm going to pop those into the fridge, and I'm going to leave them there a good hour. You could leave them in there 2 hours, 3 hours. You could leave them in overnight and use them the next day. It really doesn't matter. Leave them in at least an hour so that they really chill down and the glutens really relax. So I'm going to pop these into my fridge, and then we'll come back later in the next video where we're going to use these doughs with these ingredients, and we're going to make our really, really simple apple pie. So that's it. You should see now a clickable link on your screen, which is going to take you to part 2 of this video. So I'm just going to wait here for a second. My link should be up on the screen by now. And then you'll be able to click that. You'll also see up in the right-hand corner of your device or on your computer, there's a little circle with an I, with the letter I, and you can click on that, and that should take you right over to part 2 of this video where you're going to see me making the apple pie. So that's it for this video. Give it a click, and I'll see you in a couple of seconds.